Now, your NBC10 First Alert weather.
I'm First Alert Meteorologist Brittney Shipp. We've been mentioning this throughout the evening with our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa, that there was a potential for us to see a tornado warning be issued on some of the cells that are starting to move in ahead of Elsa. And right now we do have a tornado warning to tell you about for the southeastern portions of Sussex County. This is in southern Delaware. So when we see a tornado warning issued, that means it's possible for us to be dealing with a tornado on the ground. And what you need to do is try to find shelter. So let's go over some of the neighborhoods that are under this polygon. So when you see this polygon, this red outline here, if you live in this particular area, you definitely need to be careful. So this is probably near Ocean View, Long Neck, Sandy Landing, Frankfort, Millsboro, Hollyvale. If you live in any of these particular locations, there is now a tornado warning that will be staying in effect at least until midnight. So we have another about 18 minutes here. And if we put it in motion here, I'll back this radar up for the last 15 minutes so we can see which cell they're talking about. And it looks like it's probably this one right here that's near Ocean View. So again, the National Weather Service just issued this about 4 minutes ago. It's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, was located specifically near Millville and 13 miles north of Ocean City, moving to the northwest at 40 miles per hour. So now we're going to pause this. I'm going to back up the radar a little bit so we can just continue to track this. So again, you can see where the cell is moving here near Long Neck, West Beach here. It is tracking to the northwest at about 40 miles per hour. So if we put a tracker on this, we just want everyone that's within this polygon to make sure you take cover. And what that basically means is you want to try and get out of a room that has any windows. You want to try and go into maybe a bathroom. You want to go into the lowest part of your home, a basement, but definitely a room that does not have any windows. So as we put a tracker on this, it is moving quickly. So if you live near Trinity, Holiday Pines, Hollyville, you want to be taking shelter right now. So we have at least another 17 minutes or so of this warning. We're going to try and also track this here. We're going to put our velocity tracker on so it can show us if there's any rotation. So what we start to look for is a little bit of coupling with this system. We start to look for any red or green coupled together. That tends to let us know that we're dealing with rotating winds. So as I back this radar up and look, I don't see any tight coupling as of right now, no clear indication. But again, there is a tornado warning currently in effect. And so it's possible this is just right near Blackwater here, just outside of Long Neck, heading to the northwest. So again, what we can tell you right now is that there is definitely a tornado warning that is affecting the southern parts of Delaware. And if you live in this particular area, you want to make sure you are staying alert, maybe turn up your TV here so you can follow along with us as we continue to update you on this situation. But the best I can tell you right now is if you live within this polygon, near Frankfort, near Ocean View, near Long Neck, near Millsboro, Morris Mill, Angola by the Bay, you are all under a tornado warning until midnight. So we knew that this was going to be a possibility as we continue to track Elsa here, that it is possible that we could see isolated tornadoes associated with this particular system, and that is exactly what we're seeing now at this time for the southern parts of Delaware. So as we continue to track this, the latest information that we have is potentially what we're watching is just some of the severe thunderstorms that are near Long Neck, tracking to the northwest, moving at 40 miles per hour, and this is going to stay in effect for another 15 minutes here.
Brittany, it's Jacqueline London here in the studio, and this is something we've been watching the entire day, and we saw rainfall earlier today, and we know that wasn't connected to Elsa. Right now, we're taking a live look at Bethany Beach, and we can see that there's some wind there, and we know that there was rain, and there were concerns about flash flooding as well. And with these tornado warnings, we always want to remind people of how they can take shelter and be as safe as possible. And always go to your lower level, go to the basement, stay away from windows, stay in the interior of your home if you are in the area, in the vicinity of this tornado warning that is lasting until midnight, Brittany.
Yes, absolutely, Jacqueline. So that is one thing that we are definitely watching there. You can see Elsa, which still has not, is of course for these different isolated tornadoes that could start to develop. So what we're going to do is just continue to track this situation as this continues to track to the northwest, moving at 35 miles per hour. So it's slowed down a little bit here. But one thing that we like to do with tornado warnings is just to make sure that everyone that lives in this polygon where the National Weather Service has deemed that you are up next potentially for the rotation of this system is you need to take cover. So we like to go through and we want to just show you some of the heaviest rain is coming down closer to Long Neck at this time. Sometimes it's easy to identify on the radar exactly where the tornado is, and sometimes we don't see it as clearly, especially with the velocity. But right now, tornado warning in effect for parts of Sussex County. This cell is definitely trending to, you can see it, you see it right here, coming right out of Millville. This is what made them issue that. You can almost look, it almost looks like a bow here near Bottom Hills, right over Millville. And now everything that's coming out of Millville is tracking to the northwest. So that's why the National Weather Service then issued the tornado warning here. So everything, it's this cell here and it's going to the northwest. So as we continue to track this, we want to kind of go over some of the neighborhoods that potentially could be dealing with some of the heavier downpours and maybe even this tornado moving closer to you with rotating winds or damaging winds. And that includes areas like Oak Orchard at 1157. Heads up if you live closer to Trinity, Holiday Pines, Fairmount. You are all in the polygon, which is this red box here. That means you are under a tornado warning and you need to be very careful. And hopefully you have downloaded our app and at least your phone or a notification has gone off, or maybe if you're up watching TV late, if you're in this particular area, we'll go in a little bit closer here near Millville. This is the information that the National Weather Service has given us, is that it started near Millville here, and that prompted the National Weather Service to issue this tornado warning. I know we have a few more pictures from the general area of Delaware that we can show you as well, where the heavy rain is coming down, but it's definitely this cell right here that's now moving closer to West Beach, Long Neck, Oak Orchard. It's going right over Peninsula Golf and Country Club, Baywood Greens Golf Course, Holiday Pines, Ghostly Mill, Hollyville, Angola by the Bay. These are all the areas that potentially could be dealing with this tornado that looks to be closer to Long Neck. So let's see if we can put our velocity on and identify any of the rotating wind speeds here. So we switch you from seeing the reflectivity, which shows us the rain, to more of our velocity, which tracks rotating wind. So it shows us what's closer, what's coming towards the radar, and what's going away. And what we start to look for is a little bit of coupling between the two of them to let us know where exactly potentially the rotating wind speeds are. So let's back up the radar once again, about 15 minutes. Sometimes it's easier to see the track even on velocity when we kind of loop it here. And
wind speeds were expected to reach up to 20 to 30 miles per hour along the Jersey Shore and up towards Philadelphia. And the center of that storm we saw pushing into southern Delaware earlier tonight. And it's not going to be until 6 a.m. until this storm moves off the coast. So, Brittney, there's a lot more behind this system right now. So people who are experiencing this and this tornado warning that's lasting for another 10 minutes until midnight, that's not it. There's much more behind this. I know that we have the rest of our weather team, two other members, Bill Henley and Steve Sosna, coming in at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. A lot of the heaviness of this storm system is expected them, and there's much more coming ahead of it.
Yes, absolutely. So another thing that we are watching here is there's been another tornado warning that's just been issued just to the south of our region. So things are definitely firing up here over parts of our area. This was the concern for us. If you live in this specific area, again, you want to make sure that you are taking cover. So I know Emily, our producer, is trying to talk to me, but
yeah. Right, we're just relaying the information of some technical glitches we're having right now. But this storm system, we can see right there that Georgetown, Milton, Lewis, Millsboro, those areas of Delaware are under this tornado warning. Mount Joy, Bullseye, Millsboro, Long Neck. And the wind speeds are strong. So we know that along with the flash flooding that's happening and the heavy downpours, these winds are accompanying it as well, which can be a big danger for power lines coming down, trees coming down as well. And we saw much of that earlier this evening in other areas.
Absolutely. And so what we do is, just to get you the bigger picture again, the fact is that we have Tropical Storm Elsa. You can see it there on the corner of your screen. It is heading our way. So as we put this in motion, within the last, I'd say 15 minutes or so, we saw this tornado warning issued for the southern parts of Delaware. So this is going to stay in effect until midnight tonight. So as we get in a little bit closer, it shows us that the cell was located near Millsboro, or 10 miles southeast of Georgetown, was moving to the northwest at about 35 miles per hour. And so as we zoom you in here, we do want to show you exactly what the National Weather Service was referring to. So we'll back it up another 15 minutes. We'll push pause on here so we can show you exactly where some of the heaviest rain is right now. So again, closer to Holiday Pines, up towards Hollyville now, and then moving to Gossley Mill. But everyone under this polygon needs to take cover, and that includes Cool Spring, that includes Crossroads, Springfield. I'm just plugging into our system here so I can hear our producer. This is just outside of Georgetown, so this is where the original cell was. It was just a little bit to the southeast of Georgetown, moving at 35 miles per hour. So again, this is what we are tracking for you. So again, if you live in this area, if you live in this polygon here, this is what we are watching. So anywhere between Georgetown down towards Millsboro, Long Neck, this is the entire area that is under the tornado warning for at least another 7 minutes. This is tracking to the northwest here. So it's all of these areas, any of these neighborhoods here. This doesn't look like a big area, but Springfield, Crossroads, Wood Branch, Cool Spring, you could be up next as this cell continues to track here to the northeast. It's moving fairly quickly. We're seeing heavier downpours as well. And then again, one thing that we try to do to track this for you is we turn on our velocity, and that kind of shows us the rotating wind speeds. We're looking for coupling here. So it looks like closer to Hollyville, potentially we are seeing some rotation. There's also a few storm tracks that we can turn on here for you and also look at where this particular system is heading. But we do know that everything is tracking here to the northwest. So if you do live near Springfield, Crossroads, Hollyville, Mount Joy, it is time to act right now. One thing that we can tell you is when these tornado warnings become established, that means you need to take action. So let's look at what you can do here. Number one, go to a central room or basement. Go to a high-rise building. If you live in a high-rise building, try to go to your bathroom. You're basically trying to get away from any windows. You definitely want to cover your head as well. So again, when we have the National Weather Service issues these tornado warnings, you want to be prepared. You want to be careful. At least it's in a small area. So if you hear your particular neighborhood called here, let's take you back in and show you near Long Neck, Angola, by the Bay, Mount Joy, Bullseye. These are the areas. Up next, potentially, is Hollyville, Cool Spring, Springfield, Crossroads. You are all under this tornado warning for at least another 5 minutes. Harbison. And so as we show you this particular cell, it came right out of Millsboro earlier, about 20 minutes ago now. This cell was located here, capable of producing rotating winds and potentially producing a tornado. And so this is the latest information that we have, but it's just this entire area that we're going to be watching for at least another 4 minutes, as potentially a tornado could be on the ground. So now we have a live look that we want to go to, a live look outside with Jacqueline London.
Yeah, let's see. We're supposed to, they can always just pull up the pictures and we'll talk over those pictures the moment you put them up. This is an image from Smyrna, Delaware. Live pictures right here. You can see the rain coming down heavily, quite a few cars on the road. We do want to let you know that whenever we show you a vehicle, it looks as though that vehicle is going faster than it is. This is our photographer driving, but that is just the imaging of the camera. We are not going as fast as it appears. But Brittany, you can see there in Smyrna, Delaware, it is coming down heavily. This is Wilmington, Delaware, and we can't see any rain coming down here, but we know this is the area where they have a tornado warning, but it is dark, so it's hard to see exactly what is taking place there.
Yes, and so if we just go back to my computer here, we're just basically tracking what is happening. So we'll start with the bigger picture, and that is Tropical Storm Elsa that's off to the southeast of us, and then we are also wanting to show you the tornado warning, I should say, that is going to expire possibly in about another 3 minutes. So there you can see it, it's off to the southeast, but if you live closer to Delaware, we switched from reflectivity mode to velocity mode, and that starts to show us potentially where we're dealing with some storm tracks here, just near Long Neck and also near Millsboro. So all of this is tracking here to the northwest, right around 35 miles per hour. If you live closer to Georgetown or Milton, this is the area of concern. So Milton down towards Long Neck, Millsboro up towards Georgetown. Probably Millsboro not as much of a concern because it's potentially these two little areas of gray here. That is where we are potentially seeing some rotation there. Sometimes it's not as clear to see when we're trying to see where the rotation is, but right now we are definitely watching for you this tornado warning, and it is specifically affecting areas like Hollyville. This is heavy rain that's coming down right now over Springfield Crossroads, Harbison. If you live in any of these locations, it is important for you to take cover right now. So we have been saying that this particular cell is tracking at about 35 miles to the northwest. So these are the areas closer to Gravel Hill. You need to take cover as well. We like to give a shout out to all of the neighborhoods so you know exactly what to do. Sand Hill, it's possible that you could be up next, that this tornado warning could be extended, and then it would be time for you to take cover. Similar conditions expected near Milton. It's possible that you also, if you live in the Milton area in Delaware, you also would need to take cover. So this now is in effect until midnight. We have about 1 more minute of this tornado warning, and now it has been extended. So here we go. So we are still watching for the same exact system, the same exact cell that is capable of producing tornadoes. So now 12:30, we have another area that's now been extended. That is now under concern. So let's go ahead and take a look. We want to make sure you are hearing all of the different neighborhoods. If you live in these neighborhoods, now that the National Weather Service is extending the tornado warning, we want to make sure that you are staying safe. So these places include, this has just been extended, Milton, Sand Hill, Kings Crossroads, Waples. If you live closer to Drawbridge, Robbins, Redden Crossroads, these are all locations that are now under a tornado warning, potentially until 12:30. Let's see if it's been extended here. Originally, it was supposed to expire right at midnight, and now it has now been extended until 12:30. So again, this is kind of an isolated area. We knew that this was going to be a possibility as Tropical Storm Elsa approaches. We have been saying basically all evening long that there is a possibility that this tropical storm could develop into a few isolated tornadoes here. And so let's go ahead and query this so I can get the latest information.
And Brittany, often when we see the most injuries in situations like this where there are tornado warnings, it's when the hour is so late, as it is now, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So if anyone in our viewing area is listening and they're perhaps not necessarily near this area in Delaware, but you have relatives, friends, loved ones in this area, we definitely want you to notify them, reach out to them, and let them know what the situation is so they can take cover, because it is so late in the evening. If people have already fallen asleep and they're in the cone of this danger, we want to make sure they take cover.
Yes.
Again, we want to take a picture of Bethany Beach, Sussex County, which is what you're looking at right now, and this heavy rain coming down.
Yes, the heavy rain is coming down just like you mentioned. And this is something, again, we've been tracking. And one thing we can turn on is both our shear tracks and our hail tracks. And so we can see that this was a powerful storm that was pretty close to the Holiday Pines area and moving towards Hollyville. So this was the cell that continues to track to the northwest, which is why the National Weather Service has now extended this until 12:30. So this is affecting areas like Milton. You are now under this tornado warning. Sandhill, Robbins, Drawbridge. If any of these neighborhoods sound familiar, or like Jacqueline said, if you have loved ones that live in this area, maybe they're sleeping, hopefully they have their phone on, you can give them a call and say, hey, it's time for you to take cover. This is another thing we want to show you is exactly what you could be doing during this tornado warning. So here is the list for you to do.
Right. We ask you to go to a central room or go to a basement when there is a tornado warning like this that is now extended in Delaware. This was going until midnight. Now we know that tornado warning is extended until 12:30 in the morning. So again, going through what you need to do if you are in this area or you have a loved one or a friend who's in Delaware, you can reach out to them, call them and tell them these are the things they need to do, along with going to a central room or a basement. If you're in a high-rise building, we ask that you go to a bathroom, you go to an interior room, you go to a room that does not have any windows. That is the safest location for you. Also, to cover your head. If you have windows all around and you can't go to a protected area, make sure you cover your head, perhaps with a mattress. So that is the best way to protect you in this situation.
Yeah, those are great tips that you were giving. Absolutely, that's the best thing we can do. Now, I know Emily, our producer Emily, we do have a live picture. Do we have Storm Force 10 that's out right now driving, I think, to
Yes.
Townsend, driving towards the area that is now in question here? It looks like there's definitely rain coming down. So again, there is a tornado warning for parts of Sussex County. And so this is what we are going to be continuously watching for you as we go into the rest of tonight, is the fact that the tornado warning is staying in effect until 12:30. So as you take a closer look at what is Tropical Storm Elsa is bringing to our region, it definitely includes heavy rain, but now it is including the fact that we have tornado warnings for parts of Sussex County, including Milford.
And you can see from that angle in Milford, Kent County, we just saw an angle where you could see a light post, and really you could see how heavily that rain was coming down, and even on the ground with those cars driving through. And there you're looking at a lot of water, and we saw so much water earlier. There are many areas that are flooded from previous rain, and a lot of these neighborhoods cannot afford any more flash flooding or any water to rise. We know the danger that goes along with that, along with the strong winds, the heavy downpours. We know there are already many power outages that have taken place. Aaron Basketball was live during our 11 o'clock and went through the outages from Pico. And with this tornado warning, often you don't know how extensive the damage is until the sun comes up in the morning, but hopefully people are taking caution if they are awake and that the damage won't be too severe. But we've seen trees down, we've seen power lines down, and lots of flooded roadways.
Absolutely, and we are also continuing to get another tornado warning out. So this is turning into a very, very interesting situation. So we basically have Tropical Storm Elsa here that is not even in our area yet, but what it's doing is we have at least 5 different tornado warnings. We have 2 that are particularly in our exact viewing area. And so if we fly you in here, southern parts of Delaware, if you know anyone that lives in the southern parts of Delaware, we just really hope that they have the TV on or have their phone on, and maybe they're getting an alert, because most people are sleeping during this time. So we want to make sure everyone can at least move to the basement or away from windows and can get into a safe place right now. So just to the north of Long Neck here is where this tornado warning is in effect until 12:30. We have another one near Milton that is in effect till 12:30 as well. So this continues to be extended. Originally, this was a cell that was moving from Millsboro, tracking to the northwest at around 35 miles per hour, and it was set to expire at midnight, but now this has been extended at least until 12:30 and also includes a different area here. So if you live in any of these neighborhoods, if you know anyone that lives in these neighborhoods, and that includes Milton, Drawbridge, Cool Springs, Sand Hill, out towards Robbins here, we are definitely seeing a very dangerous situation. I'm going to back away from just the screen and head to my weather computer to just check it to see if there's any other tornado warnings that have been issued. But right now, it looks like we have 2 active ones. Let's go ahead and query this one so we can see exactly where the cell is and what the thought process is here. This one is at 12:01. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Henlopen Acres, or 16 miles east of Georgetown, moving west at about 45 miles per hour. So this one is tracking to the northwest. So if we put a tracker on this, again, everything is tracking here. Let's just make sure the tracking speed is correct. We're going to track that. We're going to move it to 45 miles per hour. And then we just put a tracker on this. This entire area here has the potential to see this tornado in our area. And that includes Shockley Manor by 12:08 in the next minute or so. Midway, 12:10, 12:11, Midway Park, 12:14, Lewis, 12:16, Green Hill. You are all inside of this tornado warning. So that means when we have a tornado that you need to take cover. This is an unfolding situation here. There's 2 different areas at this time that are under these tornado warnings. So as we zoom out here, I want to make sure we're going over both areas so you can understand where you need to be and who needs to take cover. So if you live in any of these mentioned neighborhoods that are under this tornado warning, this includes, again, Lewis, Broadkill Beach, Milton, Sand Hill, Kings Crossroads, Ellendale, Angola by the Bay, even Rehoboth Beach now, Dewey Beach. And I think, Emily, do we have a picture of Bethany Beach, and where exactly is storm force at this time? Okay, so we do have storm force is in Middletown, so quite a ways away, but
we've been watching this for days. Our team of meteorologists has been warning that this could be the case as we take a look at storm force right now going through Middletown, Delaware, and the rain falling there. But we know this storm has wreaked havoc to our south, striking the Carolinas, which is why we were keeping such a close eye on it as Elsa was making its way here. It left at least 1 person dead in Florida and 10 hurt in Georgia. And we knew that the heaviest rain and the strongest winds were expected now in these overnight hours, not exiting until tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., right, Brittany?
Yes, that is correct. And there is a possibility here as well as we continue to look that we could see some of the tornado warnings that are just to the south of southern Delaware be issued for more of our area. So right now we have a few that are closer to Ocean Pines and just to the south of Delaware near Pittsville, but it's possible those could cross over. So we are seeing here within the last, I'd say 30 minutes, some severe storms developing near, again, Dewey Beach, Lewis, Milton. These are all the areas that we are watching for you. This is going to stay in effect now until 12:30. It looks like, I don't think that's changed. So we have 2 different tornado warnings that should stay in effect until 12:30. One is affecting areas like Dewey Beach and Lewis. We have a second one that is right over Milton. If you live in any of these areas, any of these neighborhoods that we have been mentioning, now is the time to take action. We did not have a tornado watch. That's typically when we start watching to see if the conditions are right. We skipped right over the watch, and now we are right into the warnings, which means it is time to plan and to take cover now. That means you need to move into a basement, an interior room on the lowest level of a sturdy building. You have to avoid windows. If you're outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, you want to move to the most substantial shelter that you can find to protect yourself from flying debris. So that is the call from the National Weather Service. It looks like we are going to Wilmington, did you say?
We're going to try to take a picture from Wilmington right now so you can see that. But again, that camera is a dark camera. It's hard to see exactly what is taking place there. But we know that not only is there a concern for people who are in their homes, they could be sleeping, they could be in the vicinity, in the cone of this tornado warning, but also for people who are out on the roads with this rain coming down heavily. A flash flood watch is in effect for our entire area through tomorrow morning. And so drivers need to be very aware of potentially flooded roads. And when it is this dark, it can be very difficult to see how high that water is. As we're looking at Storm Ranger driving through Middletown, Delaware, here we don't see a lot of rain there that's standing on the roads, but on those side streets, you can definitely encounter that. And you have to be so cautious if people are out on the road and they can't see how much water is building so quickly.
Yes, and sometimes it's easier for us to take a look at where some of the shear and some of the hail tracks have moved through, and that helps us kind of carve out the path of where some of the severe weather is. And it looks to be just moving, let's see, just outside of Rehoboth Beach. Same thing near Hollyville. Now let's switch you back over and show you where the rain is exactly with this system. And again, okay, so one has now expired, but we have another one. This was my concern, is that whatever is just to the south here of Delaware, southern parts of Delaware, will start to cross over into our region. So now we have yet another tornado warning. This one is going to be in effect, let's look, until 1 a.m. So this is turning into quite an active night. So let's just go through some of the neighborhoods that need to be taking cover. So this is the impacts here include Laurel, Sycamore, Gumboro. So this tornado warning is in effect until 1 a.m. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Gumboro, or 11 miles east of Salisbury, moving at 25 miles per hour. So looks like it's going to be crossing over into our region potentially here, is what I'm seeing.
The good thing is we do want to update from earlier during our 11 o'clock newscast. We were giving some numbers for power outages, and we do know that power crews are working quickly because there's been a substantial improvement. Earlier, 352 homes were without power. Now that number is down to 29. Give you an example of just how quickly they're working to restore power to these homes. Lehigh has 719 without power. Earlier, that number was 1,200. So as these storms move through and these winds whip around and take down these power lines, which we know can be extremely dangerous when you're out, but it can also knock out the power in your homes, the crews are working as quickly as they possibly can to restore them. And now in Delaware with this tornado warning, we know they'll be enduring the same, and people will be without power, and it will have to be restored, but they're working as quickly as they can.
And we try to switch you over into our reflectivity mode, and that does bring up where potentially we're looking at debris or rotating winds. And this was about, I'd say, maybe like 15 minutes ago here. So this system could be, or this particular cell right there, it folds together. It is tracking there again to the northwest. So if we put a tracker on this, we will show you that everything is moving to the northwest. So areas like Green Hill, Broadkill Beach, 1220, in the next 6 minutes or so, you could be seeing some of these heavier downpours near you, or even these rotating winds, damaging wind speeds. Let's make sure our lightning is turned on here so we can see where some of the lightning might be taking place. But we have two different, let's just double check, two different tornado warnings for the southern parts of Delaware. And that was the concern throughout most of the day, the fact that we were going to be dealing with isolated tornadoes ahead of Elsa, which is still tracking towards us. So let's widen out the picture. We'll give you the big story here. And that is the fact that we have Elsa that is in the corner of your screen, and then it's prompting, and this has been happening since Elsa's been moving through the Carolinas, moving through Virginia, moving through Maryland, that ahead of it, it is causing tornadoes, isolated tornadoes, or at least tornado warnings. And that's what we're seeing now. Looks like we have two different ones in our area. There are two, one near Ocean Pines that's just right outside of our area, but we have one that's near Laurel, and we have, which will stay in effect until 1 a.m. it looks like. Let's just double check that. I'm querying it right now, tornado watch until 1 a.m. So that's one that we're going to watch carefully for you. So again, if you live in Laurel, Pepper, Bryan Store, Mission, Westwoods, Smith Hill, you are under a tornado watch. We have a second one that we're watching for you that will expire a little bit earlier, which is closer to 12:30, and that's going to be for areas like Rehoboth Beach, Lewis. You're under this tornado warning. Similar conditions for Oyster Rocks, Overbrook, Drawbridge, Nassau, Broadkill Beach, Prime Hook Beach. What you need to do in this instance, if you are listening and hearing your neighborhood, you want to make sure that you are taking cover now. So when we have these tornado warnings, the time to act is now. This is not a watch, it is a warning. So we are definitely identifying a cell that is capable of producing a rotation and capable of producing damaging wind speeds. So again, if you live in these particular neighborhoods, we're looking for this coupling, which we're starting to see here. You need to potentially take cover, especially if you're closer to, again, Lewis. Now it looks like this potentially could be moving away from Lewis, but if you were closer to Broadkill Beach, Oyster Rocks, Green Hill, again, these are the areas under the tornado warning, and that means you basically need to be taking cover. We have a second one that has now developed just outside of Millsboro near Laurel, and that's another one where you have got to take cover. So as long as we have these tornado warnings that are on our screen here, we will be bringing you coverage and making sure that you are staying safe as the National Weather Service continues to extend these tornado warnings. The concern is that the conditions are just ripe for us to see powerful severe thunderstorms that could produce these isolated tornadoes.
And we knew this would be the time when there would be the greatest concern, the overnight hours, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So this is really almost on target, Brittney, isn't it? And right on time of what we were expecting. The fear that this would happen so late in the evening when people might not be as weather aware. And that's why we were urging people over the past couple of days that today would be the day you really need to watch. And that's when Tropical Storm Elsa will be making its way closer to us. And that's what we're seeing.
That's exactly what we're seeing. And so as we just take a look at the situation that's unfolding here, it's always hard when you have two different warnings at the same time that you're basically trying to just trying to keep track of. And so we have two different ones. The first one we can point out here.
Now until 1 a.m., right?
Now,
there's the tornado warning until 1 a.m. and then the other one until 12:30. But these are in two separate areas?
Two separate areas within the southern parts of Delaware. And so the concern is really going to be all the neighborhoods now that are to the northwest. And we'll have to watch as this cell, it looks like what's right here near Lewis, is what's causing the National Weather Service to issue this tornado warning, and everything is tracking still to the northwest at 40 miles per hour. So that's moving quickly. So that means if you live to the northwest of Lewis right now, you should definitely be taking cover. Now, this only extends out towards Broadkill Beach and Prime Hook Beach, and Oyster Rocks is included. Same thing near Drawbridge. And we'll have to see because, 12:30 is only 10 minutes away. It's possible that the National Weather Service could extend into areas like Milford, this tornado warning. So we'll have to see if this particular cell starts to lose some of its steam or not. Let's switch over to sweeping radar here and get a closer look at where potentially we could be dealing with this rotation.
And a lot of people thought that the storms we saw earlier today were related to Elsa, and many of them weren't. We were tracking two storms, the strong thunderstorms unrelated to Tropical Storm Elsa, and then rainfall that was coming related to this tropical storm. But we know that the thunderstorms not related to Elsa were still bringing damaging winds, intense lightning, and heavy rain to our region. And we had that severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Philadelphia and its counties until 9 o'clock tonight. And then those thunderstorm warnings for Delaware, Montgomery, Lehigh, Berks County's expiring early last night. But the storms brought down trees in so many of our areas. We know SEPTA Regional Service was suspended in both directions on the Paoli-Thorndale line. So many problems, a domino effect that these storms caused, many of them not related to what we're seeing now, Tropical Storm Elsa, which really has been the concern over the past couple of days.
Yes, and we definitely are checking out near Delaware, Baird, Delaware, the heavy rain that's coming down. And Tropical Storm Elsa is not even in our region yet. This is just what she is bringing before she even gets here. And we've watched this happen as she has been approaching. So through the Carolinas, we've seen all day different tornado warnings. We have seen flash flood warnings. We have seen just the power that this tropical storm is bringing.
That's interesting. So this is not her greatest strength. What we're watching right now, these 40-mile-per-hour winds that are bearing down on these two different areas in the southern part of Delaware, are not Elsa's greatest strength. That is still to come, possibly 2 a.m.?
That is still to come. Elsa should be in our region by 2 a.m., but you're right. It's what's happening ahead of when she gets here, of when Elsa is here, that's causing these tornado warnings. So if you live in the southern parts of Delaware, there are multiple neighborhoods that are now under this tornado warning. So we do have the first one here. We're going to loop this. So you can see this was coming right out of near Midway Park in Lewis, heading towards Oyster Rocks. This is where we're seeing some of the heaviest rain. Heading towards Broadkill Beach, near Prime Hook Beach, Drawbridge. All of this is moving quickly too. These storms are moving at about 35 miles per hour, tracking to the northwest. So the areas that will be up next are the areas that I've been mentioning here. So if we pause this and we show you where some of the heaviest rain is, tracking to the northwest. So anywhere near, again, Prime Hook, anywhere underneath this polygon, you need to take cover. Prime Hook Beach, Broadkill Beach, down towards Drawbridge, Oyster Rocks. You're probably seeing some really heavy downpours right now. And that tornado warning will stay in effect until 12:30. We have a second one that we're tracking as well, and this is near Laurel. And if we put that into play here, you can see how strong some of the downpours are near Bryan's Store, Pepper, all included here in this tornado warning. And with a tornado warning, it basically means you need to take cover immediately.
And we'll go through that right now again, just to remind people what they need to do in this instance. We can't remind you enough. Again, if you have loved ones, if you have friends, you have relatives who are in this area and they may not be awake, reach out to them. Hopefully they'll have their phones on and let them know if they are asleep that they need to take cover. At home, go to a room that is away from windows. That is the best thing you can do in a tornado. For those who are at work, and there are many people who work overnight hours and late shifts, there you were asked to go to a designated shelter location. Hopefully they have one in your workplace. If you happen to be outside, that of course is not the place you want to be in this situation. You were asked to seek shelter inside immediately. If you are in a vehicle, cover your head or seek shelter in a ditch. These are strong winds that are moving through. You don't want to be in your car with these strong winds, coupled with the water on the roads, standing water in some areas, side streets that may have a lot of flooded roadways. So you want to take as many precautions as possible, whether you're at home, at a work location working overnight hours, or if you're on the road, to just take as many precautions as possible. But this is a situation that we're going to be dealing with for the next couple of hours. And these storms are moving through quickly, right, Brittney? Like 40 miles per hour. So strong winds in these areas that are seeing the strongest right now, that might move out of their area very quickly.
Yes, exactly. So basically, the National Weather Service is trying to keep up with these two different storms. They're identifying two different severe thunderstorm cells capable of producing rotating winds, capable of producing a tornado. One was reported near Henlopen Acres. You can see that first one that we're going to talk about, and that is in effect here until 12:30. And so anyone in this particular area, if you're under what's called the polygon, you want to make sure that you are staying safe. So which areas does that include? That includes Prime Hook Beach, Drawbridge, Broadkill Beach, Oyster Rocks here, These are all areas that are now dealing with heavier downpours. We'll back this up in the last 15 minutes just to show you the areas here that are dealing with the heavy rain. And you can see everything is trending. As you can see, it is trending to the northwest, moving quickly at around 45 miles per hour. And so there's areas near Oyster Rocks. You're probably getting pounded with rain right now. There's a second tornado warning for a cell that was identified near Laurel and near Bryan's store, near Pepper. Let's just put a pause on this so we can see, and then we're also going to query it, and we'll show you exactly where this is trending. And this looks like it's a little bit more to the tracking to the north potentially here off of this cell. This looks like, yep, tracking to the north, moving at 25 miles per hour. So this one's moving a bit slower, which is probably why the National Weather Service has this particular tornado warning in effect until 1 a.m. Let's raise this up so you can see it. I know our banner is blocking it, but so this particular cell was identified near Gumboro, moving north at 25 miles per hour. And so this entire area here, if you're closer to, I know this is a small area because not a lot of the names are popping up, but Pepper, Bryan's store, Sycamore, Hitchens Crossroads, Jones Crossroads, Shortly, Hard Scrapple. If you live Piney Grove, you are all under a tornado warning until 1 a.m. And then we're also going to watch this cell over here, which we've been saying is near Broadkill Beach, Oyster Rocks, Drawbridge, for the potential that maybe this could get extended. So if this particular thunderstorm stays organized long enough, we could see it get extended into more of the neighborhoods that are to the north and northwest of Prime Hook Beach. So up next would be areas like Slaughter Beach and Waples. Let's see if we have any hail tracks or shear tracks that we can turn on to better identify where this system was particularly heading here. So these are some of the hail tracks and the shear tracks that we've turned on for you. So it looks like we did see some good thunderstorm activity that stayed pretty well organized, that moved through parts of southern Delaware near Oyster Rocks. Like I mentioned, everything tracking here to the northwest. This particular cell was moving a little faster than the other ones. And then if we try to turn on our velocity for you, it shows when we start to see bright reflectivity, this gives us a good indication that potentially we are seeing some rotation with our winds going away and towards our radar here. So if we widen out the picture, it kind of gives us an idea of the organization and particularly the track of this thunderstorm cell. So again, this is right outside of Broadkill Beach. We have not seen this expire. We will know in another minute or so if this is still organized enough to continue tracking to the northwest, and potentially if it's going to give us an extension here and move into other parts of our area, which would include areas like Slaughter Beach, Anderson Crossroads. So let's go ahead and turn on. This is the velocity tracker, but sometimes it's easier to see it if we turn back on like the reflectivity and also our radar shot here. So where you see this red area here near Broadkill Beach, that's heavier rain that's coming down near Prime Hook as well. So we're just at 1229. If the National Weather Service feels that this is still organized enough, it will extend the tornado warning. And just like that, it looks like it is not going to be extended. So, but it looks like there is another tornado warning. So there's still two now. There's one that's now been issued, looks like for Long Neck. And these are the two tornado warnings that really were just to the south of southern Delaware that have now crossed over into our viewing area, which is why the National Weather Service has kept this tornado warning in effect now until 1:15 this morning. So we have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, and this is closer to Millville now, moving to the north at about 45 miles per hour. So if we take a closer look, sometimes, like I mentioned, it's easier to identify it.
And I know, Brittany, you were saying the strongest part of this storm is likely still a couple of hours away. Is it possible that these same areas we're focused on right now could be hit again with higher winds and stronger rains and heavier gusts to come in the next couple of hours?
Yeah, it's a possibility. Our biggest concern was the wind gusts that are going to be approaching with Tropical Storm Elsa, but it's also what we're seeing right now, which we mentioned throughout the day, is a possibility of isolated tornadoes, and that's exactly what we're dealing with for parts of the area. So this is why we still have 2 different tornado warnings that are in effect. And we turn on the shear and we can turn on the hail, and it kind of paints an easier picture for us to see where this organized cell is. So we'll start with that, then we'll switch you over to more of our sweeping radar. This is our velocity, and it's possible, let's switch it back over here. Let me turn this off. This is what's tracking here. So if you're by Bryan's store, Sycamore, you can see how this particular cell is staying organized enough to continue to track here. This one is mainly tracking to the north, so it makes it a little easier to see. This is Jones Crossroad. We'll switch you over here. Jones Crossroad, if you live in this particular neighborhood, Gum Crossroads, you want to be taking cover. Same thing for Sycamore, Hard Scramble, Midnight Thicket. These are the neighborhoods that are coming up. Piney Grove, it's possible that you could be dealing with some rotation here. So again, this has just been a severe situation. We've been on air now for almost an hour straight tracking these multiple tornado warnings. At least 2 have popped up in our area. Let's wind out the picture. We've been just showing you the bigger picture of everything, which is 2 different tornado warnings ahead of Elsa. So let's wind out the picture. There you can see Elsa getting closer and closer to the region. And ahead of Elsa, Elsa's not even in our area yet, but this has been the trend, is that ahead of it, the conditions become ripe for us to see these powerful thunderstorms. They're fueled by this tropical moisture from Tropical Storm Elsa. And what happens is we start to get these different tornado warnings and the possibility of rotating winds, which makes for a dangerous situation. So if we could go over again what you need to do if you live in these areas where there is a tornado warning. There are specific things you should be doing right now.
And especially this time of night, we want to stress how important it is to take these precautions. While we never want severe weather, when it happens to come in these overnight hours, that is when we have the greatest concern that there can be serious injuries and damage, because people are at home, they're often asleep, not alert, not awake, not watching their television, and they don't have the radios on. Here is a list of what you should do in this instance of a tornado warning. If you're at home, go to a room away from any windows. We know windows can be blown out, glass can start flying. We don't want you to be in that situation. So go to a room that is interior and not near any glass. If you happen to be working overnight hours, go to a designated shelter location. Hopefully they have one at your work location. If you are outside, we ask you to go inside to a safe location. Seek shelter inside immediately. If you are in a car, we know these rains are coming down quickly and these are strong winds. We don't want your car to be pushed off the road, and we don't want you to be caught in a situation where you're in standing water, and if you're approaching on the roadway, you cannot tell how high that standing water is. If you're in a vehicle, cover your head, seek shelter in a ditch if you feel as though it is safer to be outside of your car if the winds are that strong and if you cannot make it to a safe building. Again, we have 2 tornado warnings. Both of these are in 2 separate areas within the southern part of Delaware. We know drivers need to be aware of these potentially flooded roads. A flash flood watch is in effect for our entire area, and this extends through Friday morning. You're looking at Storm Ranger now that is in a location of Delaware. This is Claymont, Delaware. You see those windshield wipers going quickly. Fortunately, you don't see a lot of drivers there on the road. This is our photographer driving, but we do know that this is one of the areas where there is the tornado warning, correct, Brittany? In
Yes.
Bethany Beach here.
Yes.
So that flash flood watch in effect for our entire area through Friday morning. The heaviest rain, the strongest winds expected now, which is what we're seeing in these overnight hours, not exiting until likely 6 in the morning. And this storm has wreaked havoc, as you're looking at a live picture from Wilmington, all across our country. The country has been watching Tropical Storm Elsa make its way, once a hurricane, then downgraded to tropical storm status, but wreaking havoc to our south, striking the Carolinas. At least 1 dead in the state of Florida, 10 people injured in Georgia. And in this situation, we of course won't know how severe the damage is until the sun comes up in the morning, and we have these 2 tornado warnings in the southern part of Delaware. And we just hope that people are heeding this caution and staying as safe as possible and going into an interior room if possible, and that hopefully there won't be many more injuries like we've seen to our south elsewhere in the country.
That's right, and that really has been the trend for today, is ahead of Elsa. Sometimes it's to the east, sometimes it's to the west, but we have been seeing these tornado warnings throughout the day as Tropical Storm Elsa continues to approach. And now we have 2 different warnings, and we've been on air for probably the last hour. I think this is the 3rd or 4th tornado warning that we've seen specifically in the southern parts of Delaware. So again, if you were closer, if you live right outside of Seaford, tornado warning until 1 a.m. If you live closer to Millsboro or Ocean View, you are also under a tornado warning. So these are the particular areas that we are concerned about. We have a flash flood warning just outside of our region until 3:30. It's possible that that could be the next thing that we see, is a flash flood warning issued for parts of our area. So we do try to identify where exactly the rotation is. And so what we're starting to see, it looks like potentially where you see the bright pink, that just tracking to the north of Pepper there, that could be some rotation. So it gets a little confusing as we try to identify exactly where potentially we could be dealing with some of the rotation. And then we also look at the shear and the hail tracks, and that shows us where the organized potentially severe storm is heading. We can get an idea. So for this particular cell here that's coming out of Blackwater, tracking to kind of the northeast, it's possible near Bullseye and Millsboro that we could be dealing with potentially a tornado, or at least a cell that's capable of producing damaging wind speed. So we just will continue to watch this. Let's turn off the shear and the hail, and we'll turn back on your radar so we can show you exactly where this system is heading next. And everything is tracking, as you can see, basically to the northwest with this particular cell. So let's put a query on this. We still have this tornado warning that is in effect until 1:15. This particular cell was located near Dagsboro, also 13 miles southeast of Georgetown here, and it is tracking to the north at around 40 miles per hour. So all the areas that are currently under this tornado warning, we like to go and read the neighborhood. So if you hear your neighborhood, you don't even have to pay attention to the TV. You could just turn the TV up and head down towards the basement, and we'll continue to shout out the areas for you. And that does include Bullseye, Millsboro, Mount Joy, Holiday Pines, Long Neck, Angola by the Bay, Hollyville. This entire area is under effect until 1:15. So it is 12:40 right now. We have until at least 1:15 that we could be dealing with this potentially severe situation. There you can see Dagsboro. This was why the National Weather Service decided to issue this particular tornado warning. It's for what they saw just outside of Dagsboro, tracking to the north at 40 miles per hour. So if we back up the radar here, we just try and see exactly what they were looking at within the last, I'd say, 15 minutes or so, and really just get an idea of where everything is heading next. And sometimes it's easier to just kind of show you by turning on the tracks here and just seeing where everything is heading next. So you can see it's probably this system right here that was just outside of Dagsboro that they are watching here that is tracking, like they mentioned, to the north. So if you were closer, like I mentioned, to Bullseye, Mountjoy, Holiday Pines, Warwick, in the next, I'd say, 3 to 4 minutes, you could be dealing with a potentially severe situation as well. So let's turn the track back on for you, show you where the system is moving. And again, that is to the north, right around 40 miles per hour. Now we want to bring in Jacqueline London, who's taking a closer look at some of the flooding that we're starting to see.
So this is near Fenwick Island, I'm being told. And you can, Route 1, I'm being told again. And from that one, here you can see that there isn't much traffic on the road. From the previous shot, if we can put that one back up again, we can't. But if you were able to see that one, you could see the flooded roadways. And also to the far left of the screen, you could see that there was a light and it was swinging, giving you an indication of just how strong these winds are. And we saw the flooded roadways there as well. And drivers going through it, which we always tell you not to do. Turn around, don't drown. And that's this case, and it's very dark outside. This rain is coming down heavily, and people, unfortunately, who happen to be out and about are in a hurry to get home, and they're driving through it. But we just ask you to use caution and not get in a dangerous situation driving through water that is too high.
Now, here's what's interesting is that the National Weather Service has really isolated this next tornado warning. It's in a very, very small area here. It basically is for almost one neighborhood, which is Sycamore and Waterview Acres. And so the concern is probably this sail right here. Let's switch you over to velocity and see if we can see any type of rotation. See if we see any reflectivity coming up or any coupling. So it's a very small area. I guess that's a concern for the National Weather Service, which includes Sycamore. And then we have one more live look. We're starting to get a lot of pictures coming into our area here.
We're getting ready to get another picture up. And these pictures are great because we see the radar here, but when you can see the pictures of what is taking place on our roads, it gives us a good idea of what it is like outside. I believe this next picture we're going to get is Bethany Beach, so we can see what it's like there with the rain coming down and the strong winds. And we're very early in the hurricane season. This Atlantic hurricane season is expected to be above normal this year. We know the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicted a total of 13 to 20 named storms, with 3 to 5 of those storms turning into major hurricanes. And this season goes until November, and it just started last month in June. But we knew this was going to be a very active season as we look at State Route 1. Well, this is not a hurricane, it is a tropical storm, but these winds are strong, and it does not mean that you need to pay attention any less because it is tropical storm status. Look at the radar right there, and we know we have 2 warnings in the southern part of Delaware in the middle of the night, which is what you don't want, because we know there is a greater likelihood of injuries and danger to buildings when it comes in these overnight hours.
And I think now is a good time, once again, to just go over what you need to do when we have these tornado warnings. It's not a watch. There's a big difference between a watch and a warning. A watch means we are watching to see if the conditions are ripe. And once we get to a tornado status, a tornado warning, that means it is time for you to take action, especially if you live in these particular areas. And anyone that's in what we call this polygon here, you are the ones that need to be taking cover. So we have the areas we like to just shout out for you to hear: Millsboro, Bullseye, Holiday Pines, Mountjoy, Hollyville, Herring Landing, Long Neck, Oak Orchard. Any of these neighborhoods that we're calling out, you're under this tornado warning at least until 1:15. And then we have a smaller area, and really only one neighborhood's coming up, and that's Sycamore. Let's get in a little closer. Hard Scrabble is coming up. Waterview Acres, that's another one there.
We're looking at a shot right here. This is US 13 at Route 20 North in Delaware. Few cars on the road. A lot of rain coming down. You can see to the top right of your screen that it is windy there, and these roads are soaked with rain. I know, Brittany, you mentioned that from this radar, you can see that there's only one neighborhood in this particular area. So hopefully many of these are rural areas where there aren't many people residing there. We can only hope that decreasing the chance of many injuries.
So we do have good news, and that is one of the other tornado warnings has now expired. So we have only one left that we are and the last one just expired. So
okay,
looks like we are back to just awaiting the arrival of Tropical Storm Elsa. We could potentially see flash flooding, but at this time, this is what we will continue to watch for you even as we go through the night. So we have seen a total of about 4 different tornado warnings, and now, at least for southern parts of Delaware, right now we are in the clear. The tornado warnings that were in effect have now expired early. So we will check back in once we have another tornado warning to bring you. But until then, we want everyone to stay safe for the rest of this evening until Tropical Storm Elsa passes through our region.
Now, your NBC10 First Alert weather.
Good morning. I'm NBC10 First Alert Meteorologist Bill Henley. A tornado warning as Tropical Storm Elsa passing through the area has just been issued in and around Ocean City, New Jersey. Time to go to a central room or basement. High-rise buildings, go to a bathroom, stay away from windows, and definitely cover your head. This storm is on the move. It's moving to the northwest at 35 miles an hour. Heavy rain and strong, potentially damaging winds as it moves to the northwest at 35 miles an hour. That storm system capable of producing some damaging wind. Right now, Ocean City, take a closer look and you can see the heavy rainfall that is wrapping around that potential tornado, that radar indicated tornado. We could see not only severe weather right in the Atlantic City, but inland areas as well, as that storm is moving fairly rapidly. So look out for Skullville, English Creek, and Skull Landing, Stillman Landing as well. That storm coming through at this time. So a tornado warning has been issued. The heavy rainfall wrapping around the storm that is slowly pushing through the area. That's Tropical Storm Elsa, with the tornado warning now in effect for Atlantic County in the Ocean City area. And that storm, once again, is on the move. Let's see if we can take a better look at the storm center. Right in here, you can see the rotation is likely just to the northwest of Ocean City and moving inland. So under that tornado warning currently, Ocean City, Corbin City as well, Stillman Landing, English Creek. It's time to take action and stay safe. Be in the lowest level of your house or building if possible, in an interior room if necessary, if that is all you have. This is all coming from the storm that is slowly impacting our area, not only with some strong gusty winds, but also for the potential for severe weather like this. This tornado warning just issued now for Atlantic County, New Jersey, and it's in effect until 3:30 this morning. So we'll be tracking it for you as it moves inland. In fact, let's put it into motion and we'll see how this is moving through the area right now. Take a look at this. And right there. Okay. There is the live Doppler, the tornado warning, again, until 3:30 this morning. That heavy rainfall will be accompanying that with strong gusty winds. Watch out for flying debris, too. That's one of the biggest problems with these storm systems as they move through the area. The possibility of that storm hitting your immediate area is a possibility, but even if it doesn't strike right overhead, there's a possibility of flying debris in the region as well. So be on the lookout for that. Right now it's time to take action. Let's see, we can put this in, here we go, put this into motion the last hour, and you can see the storm system making some progress in our area. It's this band that is moving through now with some very heavy rainfall in our area and producing this heavy rainfall and the tornado threat this morning. You can see this is a band that's moving right through the Atlantic City area, and the severe warning now for Atlantic County and into eastern Cumberland County, just to the north of Morris River. The tornado warning in effect until 3:30 this morning, and we can see that it is going to be with us and on the move as it's moving at a pretty good clip. It's moving to the northwest at 35 miles an hour, moving to the northwest because the storm center of Elsa is still to our southwest, and that storm center is spinning the winds inland for now in the Atlantic City area and Ocean City as well. So heavy rainfall coming through with the storm system and potentially severe damaging winds with a potential tornado. This includes portions of Vineland, Ocean City could be impacted with this, Cumberland, Summers Point, Ventnor City, Northfield, Margate City, and Estelle Manor as well. The temperatures not going to play a part in this for us. It's just the wind, the damaging wind potential with the storm moving through this morning. That's a live view of the NBC10 First Alert radar, and we'll put this into a motion for you. You can see the storm quickly moving inland. This is the motion over the last hour. This band of heavy rainfall is producing not only a flood threat for our area, but now also a severe thunderstorm threat with a tornado threat as well. So once again, we have a tornado warning in effect for this portion of Atlantic County and into Cumberland County until 3:30 this morning. The radar has indicated rotation within that storm system, and it's moving off to the northwest at now 30 miles an hour. That 30 mile an hour will take it inland, and it is going to be impacting neighborhoods to the northwest of Ocean City this morning. So stand by. We have some severe weather in the area right now. We've had some tornado warnings through the night in southern Delaware and Sussex County, and now that band of strong, heavy rain and potentially damaging wind has moved into South Jersey as well. So the tornado warning in effect until 3:30 this morning for Atlantic County. If you are in this area, it's time to take cover, take action, and keep yourself safe along with your family. Again, you want to be in the lowest portion of the building you're in, whether it's your house or another building. And if you can't get into a lower floor, or if you're already on the lowest floor, you definitely want to be on an interior window this morning, or interior room this morning, away from windows to protect yourself from flying debris. So a tornado warning now in effect, and we're tracking on the First Alert satellite and radar, and that area is most likely going to be impacted in the next half hour. So we're looking at this currently on the First Alert satellite and radar. It's going to give you a better view of this as it's coming into our area. Here we go. All right, take a look at the velocity here. And this, where the red meets the green, this is the area of rotation that we're watching. I put this into motion, and you can see things are, it's moving off to the northwest right now. So it is moving through Atlantic County. It's still in its path, potentially. Corbin City, Skull Landing, English Creek, Dorothy, Estelle Manor. It's time to take cover and take action and be prepared for this potentially severe storm, which can cause quite a bit of damage in a very short period of time. So once again, go to a central room or basement. If you're in a high-rise building, best to be an interior room. Bathroom is good. An interior closet will work as well, and definitely stay away from the windows. And if you hear those winds roaring, it is time to cover your head. The storm is coming your way. So Atlantic County now in a tornado warning, under a tornado warning. Once again, we'll take a closer look at the velocity. You can see the red meeting the green here, and this is the spin that we're looking at, and it is making a move. Let's put this into motion for the last few minutes, and you see it's moving inland at a pretty good clip. So right now, those in the path of this potentially severe storm, Skull Landing, Steelman Landing, and Dorothy could be reaching you by 3:20 this morning. So take cover and stay safe if you can. You'll hear those winds roaring if the storm is coming your way. This is a live view of the heavy rain that is pouring into the area. This is Atlantic City. This is north of the tornado warning area. You can see the heavy rain just pounding the boardwalk in Atlantic City. We do have gusty winds. The winds have been gusting to more than 30 miles an hour at the shore. But of course, with the tornado, you'll get much heavier, much stronger winds in an isolated area. That's Cape May, not looking too stormy right now, but there is rain in the area. The heaviest rain is actually just to the north of Cape May, so that's moving towards the Atlantic City area. And where you can see the rain really coming down, that's a view from Cape May, from the marina. It's a lighter rain there in Cape May. That's not the big issue right now. Cape May is out of the woods as far as this current tornado warning for our area, but not so for Ocean City. Ocean City are just out of the woods for this particular storm system, for this particular tornado warning, but the chance of some downpours and gusty winds will continue in the Ocean City area. But the biggest concern at this hour is the potential for a tornado that is radar indicated and moving inland at a speed of 30 miles an hour. This storm, capable of producing damage, is still heading towards parts of Atlantic County and towards eastern Cumberland County right now. It's radar indicated. That's the radar that is working 24/7, has spotted rotation within this storm, and this storm is going to dissipate, but it's really the next 23 minutes that we have to worry about with the storm system quickly moving through the area. So this is the view over the last hour. You can see that's actually right now. That's now in the last 30 minutes. That storm system is pushing into Atlantic County and bringing the threat of a tornado. It is a powerful storm, whether there is a tornado in there or not. It does look like we see some rotation. When you see the red meeting the green, that's an indication of some of the rotation right in here, getting close to Steelman Landing as this storm moves to the northwest at 30 miles an hour. So once again, this is a tornado warning. If you're in the Steelman Landing area, it's time to take cover. You should hear the winds roaring right now, and at the very least, we'll expect to see some storm damages, trees and power outages in this area, and also damaging roofs and flying debris as a result of this storm moving inland. So a powerful storm and a potential tornado moving through Atlantic County right now. A tornado warning is in effect until 3:30 this morning. So we've got another 22 minutes to deal and to track this storm as it moves through. So with the storm moving in at 30 miles an hour, we can see reaches Steelman Landing in just a couple of minutes, 2 minutes away. And Dorothy, by 3:18, you could be looking at the storm in your area as well. So stand by. We do have a tornado, a potential tornado, a radar indicated tornado with strong gusty, potentially damaging winds moving to the northwest at 30 miles an hour. And I'm going to turn on this correlation coefficient, see if I can see some debris. Sometimes the radar will pick that up. I'm not seeing any debris field as I look at that right now, but it does look like we're seeing some very heavy rainfall. And you can see, let's take a look at this right now. There we go. The very heavy rainfall that is just moving into Steelman Landing at this time. And that rainfall is going to intensify, in fact, may hide the tornado from you. So if you're looking out the window, which I do not recommend, if you're looking out if you just see it from a distance, you might not see the tornado because it'll be wrapped in rain. Some of this heavy rain that's coming from Tropical Storm Elsa. Elsa has had a history of producing tornado warnings, and now we have one in Atlantic County in New Jersey. So once again, a tornado warning. If you're just joining us, a tornado warning is in effect in parts of Atlantic County in New Jersey. We're watching this potential rotation. It's spotted on radar moving towards the Steelman Landing area and Estelle Manor and Dorothy. Steelman Landing is still on track for you, 1 minute away. It's time to take cover right now, and Dorothy at 18 past the hour, so in 8 minutes time, it could be moving your way. Thompson, you could see some damaging wind as well. Thompson Town damaging wind is potentially in the area with this rain-wrapped tornado, which is likely a rain-wrapped tornado coming through at this time. So time to take cover. You can see this is the motion over the last hour, and even I'll switch this over so you can see just the last 15 minutes, because this shows you the motion of this system as it moves inland, the potential for severe weather coming right in towards the Steelman Landing right now with the potential tornado. This is an active tornado warning in New Jersey as Tropical Storm Elsa bears down on our area. Not only are we seeing some heavy rain accompany the storm, but now a tornado threat in the Atlantic County area. Atlantic County under a tornado warning until 3:30 this morning. So we have 19 minutes to go on this one. And looking for signs that this one is settling down. I'm not seeing that just yet. So time to take cover in Atlantic County. That storm is moving inland. It's part of this band of some very heavy rainfall that is coming along with Tropical Storm Elsa. Elsa is still a powerful storm producing some heavy rainfall just to the north of this area, and that looks like it's going to continue for the next several hours. But this is a fast-moving tropical storm moving off to the northeast at 25 miles an hour per the last report from the National Hurricane Center, and that is a wind field within the storm, tropical storm of 50-mile-an-hour winds. Now, we have seen some wind gusts along the coastline where the winds have been gusting to more than 40 miles an hour. That was the high report we saw out of Rehoboth, out of the Delaware beaches earlier this morning. The wind's currently gusting to more than 30 miles an hour right along the coastline and the Jersey Shore. So we have an active tropical storm and also this active tornado warning for portions of Atlantic County in New Jersey. And there it is. The tornado warning has now passed Ocean City, and it looks like the potential for the damaging winds is quickly moving inland with that speed moving at 30 miles an hour. So take a look at Corbin City. You're just to the south of this area, but Steelman Landing will likely get some potentially damaging winds. We're taking a look at this. We're looking for the areas where the red meets the green, and that's an indication we could see some rotation possibly right just to the northeast of Steelman Landing as this storm system moves inland. Again, it's moving at 30 miles an hour, so impacting Steelman Landing right now. Estelle Manor, this storm is coming your way, and we could see Dorothy and other sections of portions of Atlantic County and even into eastern Cumberland County may be impacted by this storm. The loop here, this is the 30-minute loop, and you can see how quickly this storm is moving inland, not only with the heavy rainfall, but that potential tornado. So again, it's time to take action. If you're in the path of this potentially dangerous storm, it's time to make your way to the lowest level of your house. If you have a basement, it's time to be in the basement, a first level. If that is the lowest level, then find an interior space, a bathroom or interior closet, but best to stay away from windows as this storm is capable of producing quite a bit of debris as it moves inland. So the tornado warning in effect until 3:30 this morning. So we're about 16 minutes away from that, but it is still an active, potentially dangerous storm that is moving to the northwest at 30 miles an hour. All right, let's take a closer look at that. Once again, this storm system is going to be impacting us. We have had a history of tornadoes with this tropical storm as it's been moving up the East Coast. We saw overnight tornado warnings in Sussex County in Delaware. In fact, multiple tornado warnings in Sussex County in Delaware. And now we are tracking this current threat through Atlantic County in New Jersey and towards Cumberland County as well. The heavy rainfall that's accompanying this storm may hide the tornado from somebody that's out looking for one, but you will hear its winds roaring, and unfortunately, you may hear trees snapping as it moves into the area. This will make considerable noise as it's coming into your area, and that should alert you that it is in the neighborhood or very close by. So this area is one to to take action right now and take this storm seriously. Now, there's a flood threat for much of South Jersey as this band of some heavy rainfall from Tropical Storm Elsa moves through the area, and we could potentially see other tornado threats pop up as this storm moves through. But right now, the area of greatest concern is in portions of Atlantic County and potentially in the coming minutes in eastern Cumberland County. Here you can see it on the First Alert satellite and radar. You can see that heavy rainfall moving in and the chance of some showers and thunderstorms is going to be with us during the day today. It looks like we may have an update here. May have, take a look and see the latest from the National Weather Service that issued this storm warning in our area. It looks like we have, there we go, Ocean City, Stillman Landing, very good. Take a look at the velocity. And this storm is quickly moving inland. Again, a tornado warning in effect for Atlantic and Cumberland County. And we have Katie Zachary on the phone with us this morning. Katie, where are you?
Really picked up. My photographer. Hi, Bill. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead,
Okay.
Katie. Where are you?
Hi, Bill. So I'm very keenly interested in your latest weather report. I was listening to it as we are on the Atlantic City Expressway South, just north of Hamilton, and the weather's not good. It's really picked up. The winds are strong. Jose, who I'm driving with, he's clutching the steering wheel. You know, not the best conditions to be on the road. This kind of just came upon us, and the rain, amounts of rain, it's raining pretty hard. When we left Philadelphia, around 2:30, we left the Philadelphia area. There wasn't much rain. We headed into South Jersey. Still, the rain wasn't a big consideration. And then over the last, would you say 20 minutes, Jose? 20 minutes or so, it's really picked up the conditions. There's a marked difference. So very interested in, Bill, what you're reporting about that tornado warning in Atlantic County. Just that's the area in which we're headed, I should say, because of covering, coastal flooding in Atlantic City, Margate, Ventnor, places at the shore. So the conditions are not good. If there's any reason that you would need to leave your home right now and head, south to the area that Bill is highlighting, I would say do not do it from someone who's on the road right now. Bill, do you have any updated information you can give me?
Yes, the tornado warning has been dropped. It looks like it has dissipated right now, Katie Zachary, but it was indicated on radar in the Atlantic City area and then moving off to the northwest, so it likely impacted some neighborhoods there. That threat from the tornado has eased, but we still have many threats facing us as Tropical Storm Elsa moves through the area this morning with a very heavy rainfall and gusty winds and the potential for more severe weather. We're not out of the woods with this storm yet. We may see other tornadoes potentially this morning as the storm races up the East Coast. So once again, we were under a tornado warning. That tornado warning in portions of Atlantic County and Cumberland County has now been canceled as the storm has eased, but there's still a storm threat from Elsa as it moves through the area. When severe weather pops up, we'll be on the air with the latest from the First Alert Weather Center. Full report on Tropical Storm Elsa and what you can expect coming your way as we start our morning news, NBC10 News Today at 4 o'clock this morning. I'm NBC10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Now your NBC10 First Alert weather.
3:41 on this Friday morning, we are breaking in because we have another tornado warning. If you've been watching us, we've had an earlier tornado warning for Atlantic and Cape May County. This is on the northern end of Atlantic County, and also it looks like into areas of South Central Ocean County in southern New Jersey and Burlington County. So if you live in these areas, you need to get away from windows to the lowest floor of your home. I'm showing you Atlantic City, look at the camera bouncing around. We've been having these fast-moving rain bands move in, and occasionally some spin-ups with this. So this is the area right now that is under this tornado warning. This is, again, parts of northern Atlantic County. We're talking about areas of Ocean County and a good chunk of Burlington County. So what I'm going to do now is flip the radar over and into the wind mode to see what it looks like. And it looks like it's this couplet right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to step off the radar right now and zoom into some of those towns that we have in the path of this potential rain-wrapped tornado. You're not hearing any thunder with this, any lightning, and there we go. It's right in this vicinity right here. So north of Port Republic, west of Route 9 here, and it is moving off to the northwest at 20 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a storm track on here for you to give you the latest towns in the path of this storm. Again, a rain-wrapped potential tornado here. This is the second warning here for New Jersey that we've seen this morning, and it's this cell right here moving off to the north and west. So if you live in these areas, 346, we're talking about areas like Swan Bay Wildlife Reserve. Obviously not a lot of people in there, but we're talking about Lower Bank 355. 4 in the morning, Green Bank Elementary near that school. So if you live near there, you want to be away from windows, lowest floor of your home, basement preferably. Again, this could be a brief tornado with wind gusts, 60, 70, 80 miles per hour, just enough to do some damage here. And it's this storm system right here. These storms have been pivoting in off the ocean and have had a lot of spin with them. So they are dangerous. Tylertown 409 as we move to Pleasant Mills. It looks like 413. Again, this is what it looks like right now. So giving you the normal perspective of the radar, this is what you're used to seeing. It's right in here that we're seeing that tornado warning. Again, moving off to the northwest at about 20 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do, read some towns here in the warning: Egg Harbor City, Tuckerton, Port Republic, Bass River State Forest. It looks like Penn State Forest, Wading River, and over to Mystic Island. And on the Garden State Parkway, exits 45 to 60. So that's a good stretch of the parkway here. Also, another storm here, not under a tornado warning, but showing signs of spin here just off the coast of Ship Bottom. So we have our eye on this storm. So again, we have about another hour or two where tornado warnings are possible. But again, it's this storm system here in Atlantic County that is causing the problems. If we could take the Atlantic City camera and kind of zoom it out, we're just looking at the boardwalk. If we could get a different perspective to try to see what's going on in that area, that would be great. Thanks, guys. Let's go back over to that radar picture now, though. South of Ship Bottom, so that's Long Beach Island. So we're talking about just north of Brigantine. So a lot of this is just wildlife area, but inland, that's where we're talking about some isolated communities with the potential of this tornado. So I'm going to step off the screen again, give you some more towns here in the path of the storm. Again, the storm is moving to the northeast at 20 miles per hour. Not like your typical thunderstorm. Here a few hours until the worst of the storm is passing. The storm is moving at a good clip, and so it is moving off to the northwest at 20 miles per hour, this storm, but the whole tropical storm is moving up the coast and we'll be out of this here in the next couple of hours, but we still have about another hour or two to go. So there are your towns. 349 in Port Republic, Bass River, we're seeing that storm system for you at 352, 354, looks like in Marygrove, 408 Martha, and then towns like Eagle, 425. Again, the storm moving to the north and west into Burlington County. Fairly rural area, but still we're concerned about the potential of a brief rain-wrapped tornado. If you had any cameras, feel free to pop them up, guys, in the control room. If you're seeing anything good here as this storm updates before your eyes. With the latest scan now, look, they've actually shaved the warning now off. So the coastal areas here, they are now in the clear. But the update now is showing that the storm is moving to the west. Now, down the parkway in Cape May, we had some tough times earlier this morning. In fact, just over Delaware Bay, we had tornado warnings with radar-confirmed tornadoes, meaning that the radar was spotting debris down in Sussex County, Delaware. We're not seeing that just yet with our radar with this storm, but that could happen at just about any time. You're looking at the Wildwoods right now. That's, again, south of here. But if we could show anything at Long Beach Island, Atlantic City, yeah, these are the areas that are under the gun right now, right along the Garden State Parkway, but especially west of there, north of the Atlantic City Expressway. So if you're in Atlantic County, Atlantic City, you're fine. South of there, toward Ocean City, you're okay. It's this area out toward the Pine Barrens of New Jersey that are getting this storm system. So what I'm going to do, put it over to the velocity mode, Still a little bit of a circulation here. It's loosened up a little bit, and this is what I like to see. When you see those really bright greens and really bright reds very close together, that is a sign of a spin up. As it loosens up, which it has done here, you're not seeing that real bright contrast. That means the storm is still rotating, but the likelihood of a tornado not as high right now. But these things can kind of cycle and pulse through. So it's this area of the storm now that we're going to watch. So we're going to put another track on that, zoom it in for you. Again, if you're just joining us here, early on this Friday morning, we've had a couple of tornado warnings since about the midnight hour. These brief spin-ups actually looking a little bit more impressive now on the latest scan here near Bass River. Again, the storm moving to the northwest at about 20 miles per hour. So we're going to put another storm track on here, get everybody in the know here in the communities that are impacted. You won't hear this coming at you necessarily. It's just one of these tropical rain bands that we've been seeing all morning long. Again, moving northwest at about 20 miles per hour. So there we go. Bass River Elementary School. So if you live near there, 3:47 in the morning. Wading River, 3:56. We're looking at Jenkins, 4:06, 4:07 Maxwell, 4:10 in Tylertown, 4:18 in Mount. And what I'm doing right now is just looking at the weather service in the chat room to see what's going on here. They're keeping that tornado warning in effect for Atlantic, Burlington, and Ocean County through 4:15 this morning. So again, we're not out of the woods yet here. It's 3:48 in the morning. If the storm starts to weaken, they will drop this tornado warning, and we can move on with other storms. But right now, this storm's still showing signs of rotation here on the radar, with again a brief possible rain wrap tornado. So let's put the radar in motion, and we'll show you the direction of the storm system, because these storms have been just really kind of cycling in off the ocean. So as we look at these storms, you can see we're talking about them moving from northwest to south and east, or so from southeast to north and west. So it's moving in that general direction. And so there's a few more rain bands here. You can see this storm system right here coming on shore. That may be a problem again up the river toward Toms River. So again, we're watching that. Meanwhile, if you live in southern New Jersey, if you're south of Atlantic City, the tornado threat now is over. So we're mainly concerned for the potential of some isolated tornadoes north of Atlantic City now through Ocean County, Burlington County, and then up toward North Jersey. South of there, we're starting to see some improvements. So checking to see if we have any storm reports coming in. By the way, there is a lot of street and highway flooding in these areas too. So you don't want to be driving. We've seen a lot of reports of flooding in and around Summers Point and around the Atlantic City area. Katie Zachary is down near Hamilton, New Jersey, and she was reporting to us, so she just called us up a few minutes ago, of a very powerful wind gust and rain squall that moved through. And she was really curious, what's going on there? Well, that's right in the vicinity, just north of there. That's where we had that tornado warned storm, again, till 4:15 this morning. Again, it doesn't have that real classic look. There we go, Seaside Park, Ocean County, there you go. So we're actually in the thick of it, in the storms in Ocean County. So north of Atlantic City, north of Brigantine, this is where the heart of those storms are moving in. And we have another about hour or two until the eastern part of this storm moves through. It's the front end of the storm that's dangerous. The back half is not. There's Atlantic City there on the boardwalk where, again, the worst is over there. We're all focused now on inland locations. So, of course, Sheila Wacko will be in here at 4 o'clock, and she'll be looking at these road conditions to see if anything is problematic in terms of any kind of downed trees or blockages here with this storm, and to see if it caused any damage. So, again, to recap, 3:50 in the morning. We are looking at our radar right now. This is probably not something you're used to seeing. This is red and green while we're looking at winds coming toward and away from the radar. What that tells us, when we get something very close together, like right here, potential rotation, maybe a potential tornado. Now, looking at this on the scan, it's not very impressive, but I'm going to use another source on my phone just to make sure that we don't have anything that has tightened up here over the last few minutes. And actually, right near Little Egg Harbor, so in this vicinity right here, again, we may have a potential rain-wrapped tornado. The latest scan on the radar here looking a little bit more impressive. So what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in some of the towns that are impacted. And again, this is a pretty rural area about Washington in the path of this storm. We're seeing now west of Bass River, so Bass River right in here, west of you, west of the Garden State Parkway, we're seeing that tornado-warned storm. Right now we're doing better, still rain and some gusty winds down at the shore. We've seen sustained winds up the tropical storm force, especially in Delaware, and occasionally you get these brief spin-ups over on the eastern side of this tropical storm. This is what we warned you about yesterday. Get away to have warnings. If you're up watching me, you did the right thing. You got your alert, and that's what we're warning here for over the next hour or two. So keeping our eye on the radar right now, you can see heavy rain moving through, no thunder, no lightning. This probably won't sound like a freight train coming at you, but there is the potential here for a brief burst of wind, probably lasts about a few minutes, maybe even less than a minute here as these storms are moving fast enough. But it can be a really intense situation where trees come down. And remember, it is just pouring in these areas. So I'm going to plot some rainfall rates here just to show you that you won't be able to see this thing if it's coming at you as it's wrapped in rain. And that's kind of dangerous because there's no visibility. It's dark outside right now. And so what you want to do, you want to be in the lowest floor of your home, away from windows, and you want to be again, in an interior room like a bathroom or closet. So Erin, we're going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I think it's always a good reminder to let people know what you do in a tornado. So the National Weather Service has detailed a list of what to do if a tornado strikes. And of course, we are in a tornado warning right now. If you are inside your home, go to the basement, a safe room or an interior room away from any windows. You don't want any debris that could hit you. If you're at work, follow your tornado drill. Get to the designated tornado shelter as soon as you can. Stay away from windows. Don't go into large open rooms like gyms, cafeterias. If you're outside, seek shelter inside immediately. Sheds and storage facilities, those are not safe. Also, being inside a vehicle, that is not safe, believe it or not. The best thing to do is to drive to the closest secure shelter that you can. And if you can't do that, get down in your car, cover your head, abandon the car, seek shelter in a low-lying area like a ditch or a ravine. Steve, you and Bill, you guys have been on top of this since these warnings started. And you say rain-wrapped tornado. Can you explain for people at home? That means that you may not, it's kind of dark outside, but you may not see it coming.
So you're used to seeing those videos that we show a lot of times out of Texas and Oklahoma of that dark cloud.
Yeah.
What that is basically the tornado picking up dust and dirt and debris, and that's what gives it the color. Now we're talking about a much smaller scale tornado here on the order of a few yards wide, as opposed to a quarter or a half mile wide that you get out there in Texas. But in that little channel of winds, it's that momentum, that sudden surge, that's what can cause such damage. It's not necessarily wind that causes damage, it's the change in wind speed, that rapid change from going from light wind to extreme wind. That's momentum in physics. That's what we're worried about. That's what blows out windows. That's what knocks down trees. Again, we're taking a live look here at our shore communities right now, but can we go back over here to Max 3? Because I do want to show, this is the area that I'm watching right now. This is a pretty impressive circulation. It's rather small and tight, but it's near Wading River, and it's moving off to the north and west. So the tornado warning box is right here up to the north and west. So areas like Maxwell, you need to be looking for this. Tylertown, again, we're moving into areas of Burlington County. So we're moving away from the coastline right now and moving north and west. So that storm moving at about 20 miles per hour. Again, we'll be looking at the Weather Service chat room. We get real-time storm reports to see if we're getting anything confirmed. And again, we want to walk you through this. Again, if you're watching us, you're under that tornado warning, parts of Burlington County, Ocean County, Atlantic County, inland areas. You want to be away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside, because what happens is that glass is the first to break. Being in an interior room is much safer, especially if you don't have a basement. Now, if you're in a high-rise building, you want to go to the bathroom, you just want to be away from windows in this kind of situation, and it doesn't last all that long. We will give you the clear once these storms are out of your picture and you want to cover your head. So actually, let's do that. Let's give people the clear of where you're fine right now. So east of Mullica, it's right in here that we're looking at that possible tornado, but this area was under a tornado warning earlier, south of Ship Bottom. In southern LBI, you're fine right now. That tornado warning no longer exists. And actually, that tornado warning has just been dropped. So you get this real-time information. But as we dealt with, Bill had this about at the top of the hour, these things can cycle through and spin up pretty quickly. So that tornado warning has been dropped. It was in effect till 4:15. It has been allowed to be, or it's been canceled for a reason. The circulation just isn't there anymore. It's loosened up. You're not seeing those bright greens, bright reds next to each other. That's what we look for. And so we're not out of the woods yet. We still have more rain bands. So let's get into the radar picture. If there's going to be an additional tornado warning, it would probably be north of Ship Bottom with some of these storms that are coming in. They're spinning, and they're small, but they're spinning, and they could drop a potential brief tornado. As quickly as some of these things spin up, they spin down. It's just the type of tornadoes that you get with tropical systems. But the good news at 3:57 is south of Ship Bottom, all the way down to the Delaware beaches, you're out of the tornado threat now. So this is mainly north of Ship Bottom and LBI, up toward your North Jersey beaches that are working into this tornado threat here as we work through the next few hours. But we still got to keep an eye on Burlington County. We have to keep an eye on Ocean County. You two counties, you're still in this, and we'll be looking at that possibility here throughout the course of the morning. In addition to what we haven't really mentioned, there's a lot of roadway flooding and it's dark outside. So there could be a lot of water on the roadways. You don't want to drive through that water. Turn around, don't drown, we say. It may be deeper than you think. We will be getting past the worst of this storm system here shortly enough, and we're going to give you a full update here at 4 o'clock this morning to show you when the worst of this ends and when round 2 of thunderstorms are coming our way later today.